guys and gals. I'm going to do an adjunct, an additional video tonight. This is a Thursday night, the 16th, because I think yesterday, I think the CIRF report for this week, I think stands alone, but I have more information. I got 3 things to give you in this video. And first is tonight's Dreambot run. I'm going to show you that because things haven't gotten any better. And then number 2 is I think that I have a new theory on why the world feels so weird and what could be expecting in the next, I don't know, maybe this year or this summer, or I don't know. I don't have a time frame, but a new theory. Let's just put it at that. And because I'm hearing such diverse and committed information from so many different people on the internet. And this is given when I have time, because the counseling profession is really exploding right now, obviously, with people feeling like it's and the CIRF report was spot on with everyone's got this identity crisis going on. Ego is really confused. And so anyway, I got a new theory on that. And then third, the outpouring of comments is just got to me tonight, as I was finally able to start catching up and reading them. I'm going to look through them. I'm going to read them through this video and respond to them personally, because they're just they're very, very deep and meaningful comments, and I want to acknowledge those and actually respond to them. I think it would take less time to just discuss them rather than type out a long response. And I wanted to make sure everyone got responded to. So, all right, let's talk about the first thing is the Dreambot runs. And I want you to know, first of all, that you can go see these Dreambot runs are done more than just weekly. Looking at the right camera here. These are done every single day. And even like on Christmas and New Year's, you can look back for like years and years every single day, so you can know what the collective was thinking about. And we've seen in the past how the collective was able to predict big events ahead of time, sometimes by 2 days, sometimes by 6 weeks. I stopped doing that just because I got super busy, so stopped making predictions along those lines. But we still created the Dreambot run, and it's still applicable. As I've been saying, like Carl Jung talked about the collective unconscious. In my opinion, this is the most applicable thing to look at at where the collective is headed as a unit. Not that we're all going to be doing these things or we're all going to be affected by it, but like we each put our little vote in across billions of other people. This is according to Carl Jung. And we have a vote as to what the mood is at the collective level. Now, does that make us all into robots? No, but it is an influence. And if the subconscious is thinking this way, think of dreams. Dreams are largely subconscious material. Emotions are largely subconscious material. These things are the motivators. Emotions, thoughts, even your behaviors can be subconscious, roughly like 95%. And so of the 2 different types of minds, the conscious mind and the unconscious mind, the subconscious, according to many theorists, is much more powerful for motivating your behaviors. So if you've got some really dark subconscious material in there, that creates a really dark behavior content in your experience, which then karmically creates a lot of dark results. So anyway, at the collective level, I see that as the same thing. So when the collective is being bombarded with fear porn and maybe even just all out lies, threats of forced vaccinations, etc., you've got a pouring out of lots of different emotions. Those emotions should show up, if they're strong enough, in the collective dreams. That's why I love looking at the collective dreams, or otherwise known as the Dreambot. So you can see these things every day at nationaldreamcenter.com. And then you have to go into, let me zoom in. You go to this, this header here, this menu, and you simply, the drop down is forum, and then you click Dreambot runs. Once you become a member of this, it's free. You have these little menu items. You can view today's posts, and the Dreambot run will automatically. So if I do this, view daily post, there's not a lot here, but you can easily see that the last one is this 4/16/20 called Massive Horror with Aircraft. So you can do this as well and see each Dreambot run. And if you subscribe, not subscribe, but you become a member, then you can respond to it. And we can have a discussion around it. But anyway, that's not the whole point of this. So just bring that up for your information. Now let's talk about the Dreambot run. This was the first thing on my list. First and foremost, horror. Now I should probably get the pointer out so I can highlight it. So hold on. All right. So high in the list, horror. And that is, that's a surge score of 46.9. The surge score used to give us the predictability of the memes that we find. And I can give you a slew of examples, but 46.9 as well, or actually is pretty close to the limit of where I would call a yellow flag or a red flag in these predictions. So that's pretty high. And there's no there's no scale. It's just you got to kind of compare these things. Most of the time the surge scores start at 20, maybe occasionally you get a 30. When we were seeing some big red flags, we were looking at like 200 surge score. So there's not really, there's nothing out there that shows you what each surge score means. It's just a calculation, arbitrary, and the important thing is comparing it with the rest. So you can see the rest of them are very typical, down around 10, 8, 5, that kind of thing. So 46.9, very meaningful. I think that was a lot higher than the top word virus yesterday. So anyway, horror, that's even worse than fear. That fear is also here. Afraid is also here. And then it's also kicked down in the run a little bit lower. But anyway, we have the top word horror. Now this is nice. Well, it surprises me actually. The word normally. First of all, is there a normal? So I guess just whatever you thought was normal, that kind of implies that a lot of us are dreaming about or assuming that everything's going to go back to normal. But let's continue. Shower. Okay. There's some rain a lot in different places. Levels. Massive. Temple. Thinking aircraft. So then there's words like escape. There's a lot of mental things like we talked about with Mercury yesterday. Think, etc. Ask blood, cross, ask blood. What does that mean to you? But asking for blood is one of those kind of horror things. It matches the horror meme. See, if you just have a top word like horror at the top, and then there's nothing else to support it down here, then that's not really a strong meme. But what we were able to see, if you got horror up here with a strong surge score, and you had words to support it, like ask blood, and then some more memes, the stronger the meme, the more predictable it was. So I'm saying that there's something to this horror thing, and we might be seeing, I'm guessing, maybe like thinking aircraft. Incidentally, oh God, I'm all over the place. I'm sorry. But thinking and think are both in there. Mercury's got some opportunities still. And mind is part of this. And that goes into my new theory. So hold on for that. I'm almost there. I'm not going to dwell too long on this Dreambot. I just mainly wanted to show you that horror and fear are still there, massive. And what's going to be happening if this is predictive, something horrible happening? I don't know. I'm not into the prediction right now, but I am into the influence. And what we're seeing here is that we need to be, in my opinion, now it just depends on what your values are, and I'm not here to judge you on your values. If your value is, depopulating the world, well, then we've got some differences, and you have every right to that, but I'm not with that. I'm more of on a positive line here, a positive thought pattern here. And so, but my vote isn't being seen apparently by enough other people. So most people are thinking in terms of horror and virus from yesterday, and fear and afraid and blood and cross even. Like a lot of religion is coming into this mix. People think these times are very biblical, and there's some evidence for that, plague being one of them. But also there's the word awakening. Meet your awakening. And so this is kind of dovetailing into my the number 2 item that I wanted to talk about, my new theory. So I'm honoring pretty much what I'm not honoring is just mainstream media. I'm tired of listening to lies and fake news and more fear porn. I'd rather not. Plus, I don't have the time, so I only have a small amount of time to be watching news. I want to get my news from people that I choose. So I've got some channels around YouTube that I'm getting my news, and they are very divided. These people are very divided on, say, like Trump and the Q movement. Some people say they all recognize it, the ones that I'm following. Some of them agree with it. Some of them think it's just a CIA op. And so here's my thoughts on that. So you've got high impact vlogs, I think. He's very energetic and passionate about freedom and keeping your liberties. I think it's great. I think he's got some great insights, but he's pretty much of the opinion that Donald Trump is part of it, is part of the cabal, and it's going to take you down to martial law and take all your rights away, basically. Then I listened to some other folks who are also fear-based, and they call it like they see it. They really believe in this. They see the army cars pouring into the city, and they just assume the next step is it's going to be martial law. So you better be ready. You got to get your equipment, got to get your food. And they got good points. They have good evidence in my mind, in my opinion. But also listen to David Wilcock and The Awakening and the X-22 report, which is undeniably for the Q movement. And I see the validity in that evidence too. So everyone's got, it seems like, valid evidence about where the world is headed from here. So it caused me to believe something maybe revolutionary, in that, what if it's more of an individual thing? I mean, the solution was for CIRF report was Aries, and this is very egocentric, and it's a warrior. You stand alone and not afraid of it. So maybe it is an individual door that we're all going through. Maybe it's not a collective thing. So the folks that are dreaming about and seeing martial law coming, maybe they get to experience that. And maybe the people who are thinking about awakening and spiritual evolution and transcending, and maybe if you're into the law of one, getting harvested and up to the fourth density, if you're one of those and you really, really believe it and your subconscious is attuned to it as well, maybe that's where you go. And so maybe we all get what we're obsessed about. Maybe we get what we're all in tune with or vibrating on. I don't know, but it almost sounds right, because as I look at these vastly different spectrums of stuff, they all have pretty good theories, pretty good philosophy, really strong evidence for it too. And they're totally contradictory. So what if the answer is that both are correct? You get what you think about. You get what you imagine. You get what you dream. So if that's true, I'm not saying that I don't have to be right, and I'm not proposing that I am right. But what I'm saying is, if I am right, that dream big is a really big thing. That dream big from yesterday's CIRF report, absolutely vital in today's this week, but probably continuing on for the foreseeable future. Dream the world that you want. Be the world that you want, and you might just find yourself there. All right. I'll leave it at that. You guys can comment below. If I'm off, that's fine. I don't have to be right. But I wanted to acknowledge these comments. This is part number 3. Let me make sure I punch the right button here. So starting from the bottom, a right to know says that Chris, I have watched these CIRF reports many times this week as it progressed, and you have again helped me so much each and every day. He says that it's okay, incredible insights, and I have been able to move through these challenging times on the straight and narrow. These are not words for how grateful I am. And the right to know is, consistently, saying these same type of things. I'm very, very grateful for the information that the right to know has provided in the past, and the affirmation of these reports. It's very detailed. It's very heartfelt. And I want to thank you very much. Tom is, I think, new to the channel. Awesome content. It was really good. Thanks, Tom. I really appreciate that. And, well, I need to like all these things too. All right. And I'm not going to word respond to these, okay? Just a verbal response. A right to know comes back in and explains a little bit more about Ascended Masters, their work with magic, dreams come true. I got to admit that a little bit of his information here, or her information, I'm not sure, is inspiration for the number 2 thing that I said today, is the Ascended Masters and the angels. It kind of got me thinking along those lines of you get what you dream. Not that he was saying this type of thing, but positive, but dream and focus on a positive outcome is such good advice as the angels and Ascended Masters can work their magic. Yeah, that's another aspect that I didn't really think of myself, is you're attuning to higher level entities that now they can help us. Because if we're stuck in the fear and the martial law coming and the mandatory vaccinations, and oh my God, the tests that are probably tainted with the actual disease, and you're going to get diseased if you get tested. And, I'm not saying that to pretend like vaccination is good. I'm not saying any of that stuff, but living in that fear of that might give Bill Gates an edge. It might give the cabal an edge. So let's come out of that, and not, it's not positivity, but this is just swaying that collective mind so that hopefully we can get as much help with ourselves, and it's good for us. It's good for our immune system. So you're getting healthier at the same time, and you're taking away more of the power that they have. That's how I see it. So thanks again, Right to Know, for that second help there. That's an aspect that I didn't see. Lilith says this video, as usual, was amazing and uplifting to me. Thank you. I have been in a very low place last week, and I think your words in this reading could be considered a chance for many of us to turn it around and use the solution here. Yep, she talks about the fearful media, the TV shows from last year she found, which were basically just the coronavirus cell. It's hard not to feel suspicious after seeing that enough times. But I didn't have any idea what to believe or do about it. And that's exactly what, that's where I was too. I just kind of feel a little bit helpless no matter which side. I want to know what's going to happen. And everyone seems to have good advice. So which one is right? And so maybe it is an individual path, but yet based on through the collective influences. So anyway, Lilith, hang in there. Aries is bravery. Thank you for that, because I think I forgot to mention that. Aries is bravery. Aries is the warrior. It's fire, and it stands. It's not afraid. There's no fear there. So, yeah, great. Use the Aries, and hope that this week the dreams are coming in nice and fresh and peaceful for you. Randy. Oh, Randy. Okay, so thanks again for the insights, Chris, to my sensibilities. These are master level analysis, and you have been so spot on weekly, time after time. You deserve far more subscribers and views than currently. Thank you, Randy. That really warms my heart. Seriously, I'm very grateful for your presence here. And it does mean a lot to have words like this, to have validation like this, especially compared to other folks who maybe do this professionally. I do offer astrology readings professionally, but I haven't, my main job is more psychology and counseling. And, but I love using that astrology influence because, well, like my last client yesterday that had the astrology reading said, I can't believe how accurate this is. And that I'm not trying to tout myself, but it's important for them to know themselves so that they can succeed in, not succeed in terms of wealth or worldly stuff, but succeed in their life path. You have to know yourself. And so I'm glad that at least the knowledge that I've been putting out about astrology at least is successful enough to be understood, first of all, and then to make sense, and then to be useful. I can't thank you enough for that validation, Randy. And so when I do veer off or, have a misspeak or whatever, please let me know, any one of you. And I forgot to like, and we're going to like both of those. And then Kirsten, sorry. Oh my, when is this crazy energy going to balance out? What is coming for me is a lot of anger. And that's exactly what I've been seeing from these, the kind of the fear-based YouTube. And I don't like to say fear-based. I like to say more truth-based YouTube videos who are more concerned with maintaining liberty and their freedoms. But they are coming from a place of anger, and they're almost angry at other people for being angry. And it's like feeding on itself. I've seen a lot of anger in these people. And I think it's warranted. I think that we are hypothesizing some future boundaries that are going to be invaded upon. And when boundaries get broken, anger is a result. So anger, or even pre-anger for you, Kirsten, is essential. And it doesn't make you a bad person. It doesn't make you on the negative path, as strange as that might sound. Now, how I would work with that anger is to, first of all, see that as my ego. And that's essential because of this concept called diffusion from ACT therapy, which is a little bit of a distance from that emotion, gives me a little bit of a space to house it without being reactory to it. So it's the real negativity is avoiding the anger, is lashing out from the anger, is being motivated by the anger. But honoring it, maybe channeling it, would be a great thing to do into positivity. And then it can accelerate that big energy into something very positive. I am so tired of being surrounded by people who accept the narratives. Yeah, hook, line, and sinker. Yeah, that's why I don't even watch MSM anymore. Um, and hearing that if I would like to enter a business that is one of the essential businesses by those choice was determined that would be essential. Yeah, that really irks me is, picking and choosing which businesses ultimately are going to succeed and which ones are going to fail. I find that just ridiculous. Yeah, I get the premise. The premise is that we want to prevent the spread, but spread of what? Anyway, yeah, the premise is wrong. You got to check your premise. So, but I don't want to be caught up in that fight. And I can see, but my point to you, Kirsten, is that anger, let that be there. It's a good sign. It's a sign that you care. It's a sign that the collective isn't moving in the right place. The presence of the anger does not make you negative. So I want to make sure that's yeah, and you said it too, up at the top right here. How dare you trespass or harm? Yeah, that's exactly right. That's where the anger is coming from. And so a lot of people don't have that gift of anger because they bought they bought into the fear. So they're just sitting there willing to give up all their rights and just take whatever comes because they have no anger. So which zodiac sign is the angriest? I would probably say Aries. That's my guess. One of the fire signs for sure. And I haven't had a chance to watch that YouTube video. Hopefully I can get through these other ones that I want and then and watch that one as well. But I want to thank you, Kirsten, for this long, deep, very vulnerable information here. And I want to thank you for just always having very meaningful insights on these CIRF reports. Thanks for being here, and I hope that my advice can help you in some way. Faith, thank you for being here. I don't recognize that name. I apologize if you've been here for a while, but I welcome you if you're new. I've been feeling this paradigm shift for a long time. Over the past 6 months, my art has shown it too. And then she talks about being an empath and how that is her greatest challenge. She's basically been a helper her life with children and adults with disabilities. Mother, she lost her mother and brother. But he calls the brother almost 2 years ago passed away. Brother was quadriplegic and he was pure light and love. How beautiful is that to be basically a servant of the disabled and then almost grateful that you have that opportunity to do that work. I can't find anything more beautiful than that. And instead of complaining, it's he was pure light and love. Working with this sacred population has been a gift to me in healing my grief. And this, to me, kind of most closely matches with Chiron is and this kind of the I did forget to mention Chiron in there because I think we have a chance to directly heal ourselves in this week with the Aries being the solution in the sidereal zodiac. And so it's been, what about me? And for so long, like, what about me? What about me? This is the week. This is the week to do it. And but anyway, this statement here is, working with the sacred population has been a gift to me in healing my grief. When we get out of ourselves and into other people and add value to their lives, it's almost an end or a management of our own suffering. It's like you don't suffer for that moment in time where you're applying help to others. But just remember, Faith, this week is about you. You personally, you individually. Now waiting for God and angels to point out my next earthly assignment. Life purpose, that's a big one. Sounds like in the past was the helper field. So I can sit down with you and help you there. I did a work in Edgar Casey's Atlantic University for finding your purpose in life. And it helped me find my purpose in life. One of those here is the dream collective unconscious thing, but also my life purpose is the counseling field and helping people move through either mental health issues or finding themselves or finding their purpose, anything like that. And I love it. And when you are doing your purpose, it's a deep state of contentment. So anyway, thank you. Thank you. She says also, I want you to know how much these reports and your compassion has helped me stay focused on the light. So apparently you've been here for a while, and I want to thank you personally for speaking up and for, I don't know, validating these reports. Thank you all for validation. My ego needs the validation. So it's what about me? Thank you. I want to say how grateful I am for all of you, even the ones who didn't comment. So you don't have to comment, but I really do like this feedback. All right. Can you think of anything else I missed before I press stop? I just want to thank you. Thank you all. We'll see you next time I have a bright idea. Thanks.